going to spend some time, though, talking specifically about this LP-little-a protein, which is something a lot of people may not realize. So first, let's talk about what is LP-little-a. What is it?
So LP-little-a is a protein, cholesterol protein that wraps around LDL cholesterol or bad cholesterol. Mm-hmm. It is a protein that is present genetically. So you're born with this protein. It's not anything you do. You're essentially born with it, and it affects about 64 million Americans, about 20% of the population. About 1 in 5 of us has LP-little-a, and most of us don't know it.
So is there a way to measure it where, there's a certain number that's bad? We've all been conditioned as patients that we pretty much know what bad cholesterol numbers are. Is there a bad LP-little-a number? There
is. Over 30 is considered abnormal. Mm-hmm. Over 50 is considered something that you should treat. So event rate goes up. Over 75 is very significant. Over 180, you have a marked risk of cardiovascular issues.
And not to get too much into the weeds, and it won't take long to get beyond my comprehension level, but what is that protein? What's it doing when it wraps around that bad cholesterol or that cholesterol?
So it's a very interesting protein. We know that some people have LP-little-a and don't have an increased events rate, and we know that some people do, and we think that has to do with something called oxidized phospholipids, which attaches to the tail end of this LP-little-a protein. And if you have more of these ox phospholipids, you actually really make that inner lining of the arterial wall much more inflamed and much more prone to cardiovascular events. So it's a nasty little protein which had a reason to be there at one time. Mm-hmm. So it's proatherogenic, or increase your risk of heart attack, stroke, and arterial disease of the legs. It is pro-inflammatory in nature, so the arterial walls are can become very inflamed. It increases the risk of aortic stenosis, or a closure of the aortic valve at a young age, and it looks like something called prothrombin. So it's actually pro-clotting. It actually allows you to clot easier.
Well, obviously, if you have questions, you should talk to your general practitioner or your cardiologist, right?
Right.
Yep.
And again, this is 1 in 5 people. You're talking 20% of the population. So there's a lot of controversy. Should everybody get tested at some point in their life, or should you only test people at high risk? And that's been a big conversation.
Yeah, that was one of my first questions when Dr. Lopez walked into the studio. I'm like, I've been taking a statin since I was 38. I have a family history of cardiac disease. The statin has worked pretty darn well for me. And is this something that I would ask my general practitioner to say, hey, the next time labs are done on me for my annual physical, you should check for LP-little-a, right?
Absolutely.